Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome to Book Talk with She's Purposeke. I am author, coach, CEO of She's Purposeke, Andrea Ragland. Tonight, we have a new author in the house today, and you know how we do it. So, as each and every one come on tonight, I want you to help me to celebrate the new author in the house tonight, which is Author Kristie Blevins. So as you come on, do not hesitate to say, celebrate her. Just celebrate her, congratulate her in any way that you feel led to. And her link is in the comments. So listen, as we are on this interview tonight, I want you all to support her. Go to her Amazon page. It's 2 links in the comments. I want you all to make sure you support her and purchase her book. So as we are diving on in, again, this is a platform where we welcome new authors. So if you are an author and you want to be the next one on She's Purposeke Book Talk to share your story, please comment. I want to be the next author. I want to celebrate and share my story with the world. Okay, so help me celebrate her. Whoop whoop whoop! We celebrate Author Kristie Blevins tonight for her new book that she have out right now. And so, Kristie, without further delay, I want you to share who you are starting out. Let everybody know who you are and what has led you to write your first book.
So basically, who I am, I'm actually a child of God, a follower of Jesus Christ, the daughter of my late parents, William Twig and Juanita Bailey, the wife of Fred, the mother of Fernando, Kristen, and Jairus. And most definitely just, that's who I am.
Yes, awesome. So tell us about this awesome book that you have wrote.
So basically investing in your inner wealth, basically. So the reason why this book was written is because of, I noticed how mental health can affect our finances. And when you think about money actually can cause depression, anxiety, stress, problems in our relationships. So the journal was created basically because of that. And also just in my daily life, I see it basically at my job. Well, I'm a financial coach, so I see people on a daily basis, and I kind of see how it's affecting them mentally. So even with it doing that, that's why this journal was created.
Okay, awesome. And so, um, at what point was you really prompted to put this journal together?
Okay. So basically, I always wanted to write a book. So not realizing it was going to happen as soon as it did. So last year I had went to a conference right after my mom passed. And I met my mentor, Dr. Ford. So I have to give her a shout out. So I'm very appreciative and just blessed to have her in my life. But actually at this conference, I had went to her class basically. And she was teaching on a topic, how to create multiple streams of income. So when I met her, I was like, okay, I need her in my life. So I remember our first meeting, she asked me, what are your goals? Like, what are you looking to work on? Now, keep in mind at that time, I didn't realize I was going to be writing a book.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, when I mentioned it, she said, okay, that's going to be the first thing we work on. So it actually started last May. So here we are coming up on a year. I'm grateful that she motivated me. She encouraged me. She was my number one cheerleader in all of this. And the book actually, I finished it last December, and I had
Yes.
just published it basically this past January to Amazon, and most definitely to that landing page. But that's basically how it came about because
Yes, and
having someone.
that's why we like to congratulate
Yes.
our new authors because
Hmm.
we know how hard it is.
Hmm.
And having that right support system. A lot of times you hear people say, "I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book." I got several books, but have you stepped out to write the first book? Have you put the first journal together? So it definitely takes the right team of of motivation, not just motivation, but just having that strategy. Because sometimes, you get nervous, don't really know where to start. And so that's why I ask people, where did it begin with you in taking that just the initial first step in getting it done. And so, I'm so excited for you, Kristie, because as we dive into this interview tonight, I believe several people is going to be, as you say, set free. Many
Yes,
people are going to be
absolutely.
set free due to your journal. And I have dug into this book, and I was like, oh, this is good. This really helped us really have a good mindset and how to navigate through our finances. And so my next question for you is, I know that you play more than one role. And so I want to ask you, on a day-to-day basis, what if you had to sum it up in one sentence of what your mission statement would be that keeps you going each and every day, what would it be?
So basically, it's to spread the love of Christ, instill hope in those who are hopeless, and also just basically being a change agent, being someone who is standing in the gap of those who need it, basically. And my primary goal, basically, is to make sure that I educate, equip, and empower those I come into contact with.
Okay, awesome. That's awesome. And so share with the audience the title of your book.
So the title is Investing in Inner Wealth, a financial journal to transform your money habits and mindset.
All right. And so when it comes to your inner wealth. I know when I read the title itself, it said, when you say investing in and then inner wealth, is there a difference in investing in oneself versus having inner wealth?
So basically, they kind of go hand in hand. But when you think about your inner wealth, right? Well, first of all, going back to the investing side, that's basically anything that you're doing for yourself to help yourself. For an example, if you're looking to lose weight, or you want to eat the right foods, to help live long, God's willing, and so forth. So basically, you will go to a nutritionist, right? Or see a fitness coach or someone like that. So that's the investing side, when you're taking that initial step to basically see the goals that you're looking to work on. When you think about the inner wealth, so
Yes.
that's where the investment part come from, because we know once we invest in something, we will see the fruit from that. And even when you think about investing in inner wealth, it's not only about money. All right. It's
Yeah.
about what we do for ourselves, because everything we do, it should start within. And whatever change we make within, we will see that fruit on the outside. And just thinking about this, I kind of, basically I do everything through prayer. But even just thinking about this and praying about this, I'm like, okay, how can we focus on that, by mainly focusing on our finances? Because we don't hear a lot of talk around that,
Mhm.
especially when we, talking about our finances, you'll probably hear things more so like, increasing your credit score, working on a budget, but not really getting to the core of
Right.
why you spend, save, and give the way you do. And I say that too because sometimes it's like working with individuals, I can help with the credit, like I can do all of that, right? But I see some of us reverting back, including myself, and even outside of that, it's like, okay, it's a deeper issue here. And
Mhm.
whatever that deeper issue is, we need to get to the root of that, cut it, dismantle whatever it is, and grow and move forward from that.
Because it's as a social worker, right? You are a social worker, right?
Absolutely. I know.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. So you
Yes.
understand the mental piece of it when it comes to the behaviors of certain things that we do. And
Yes.
so
Absolutely.
how does that correlate, when it comes to just, the personalities of when you talked about a little bit about money personalities in your book.
Mhm. Mhm. So even when you think about your money personality, and like she said, I go back from a social worker, therapist standpoint, one of the things, we train to do is basically to analyze, ask questions, watch behaviors, see how your mindset and different things like that. So which I am grateful. I am using a lot of that now. and that's how I'm able to help a lot of people, even just from that standpoint. But when you think about your money personality, ask yourself, what is when you receive money, what is the first thing you would like to do with that money? Not what you need to do, but what would you want to do once you receive that money? So whatever that first thing you think of, whether you're a spender, do you want to go shopping? Do you want to save it, invest it, give it away? That right there will determine what type of money personality you have. The depending on the first thing you would like to do with that money once you receive it. I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so yes, that's good. So we're talking about that behavior. That leads me to my next question because, especially, well, I ain't gonna say just to women, but many of us are go getters, right? You hear we go getters, we chasing our dreams, we chasing that money. But there is a place in your book, we talk about being content. And so the question is, how can we become content in the present moment of what we already have while striving to be free from the love of money?
So when you think about contentment, again, that starts from within, right? So, you have to be content within yourself, basically. Thinking about your values, what motivates you, basically who you are. So, and we know no money can provide that or do that for us. However, in the society we think it does, but it doesn't, right? And I say that in a way because even when you think about, millionaires who we see, some of them, they don't want to have to live anymore, basically. And I know we have seen that in our news and, different things like that. Like, okay, they had so much money, so why would they want to do this to themselves? Because money don't bring that contentment, and it doesn't bring happiness. I mean, so even with that being said, it's very important that you create that within yourself.
Right, right. And so I have, as she is talking about um, her book and the things that's in her book, I have it right here pulled up. It's on Amazon. Again, I want you all to support her. I want you to click on the link that's in the comments. She have her book that's on Amazon, and you also can get her book at Legacy maker bk.square.site. It's in the comments, so y'all make sure you get a copy of her book. And I'm going to read a little as she have already shared her title, investing in inner wealth, right? And so a financial journal to transform your money habits and mindset, as she have been talking about that mindset and that behavior and those personalities. And her goal in she says, my goal in investing in inner wealth, a financial journal to transform your money habit and mindset, is to help you see the importance of becoming financially free by changing your behaviors and mindset when making money decisions. I want you to get to the root. That's good. I always love to hear that root because there's always a root cause. And she said, I want you to get to the root cause of your financial habits of why you spend, save, and give money the way you do. So let's talk about some things that could be attached to individuals giving money. So in that perspective, what do you mean by the way you give money?
So even when you think about that, some people, they receive money and they just want to give it all to the homeless or, give it away all to a family member. So even when you're thinking about things like that, it's just basically having that giving heart, basically. And sometimes, when I say, just from this standpoint, it may be given to things that, it's like, okay, let's come up with a plan. Like, and I say that because with some people who I have came into contact with, when I think about it, it's like, okay, going through a budget with someone. But then when I see, okay, but you are behind on your utility bill. But then I see, well, you helped a family member. So where is that stemming from? Why do you feel like you have to help this family member, but not pay your utility bill, right?
Mm,
So even with that being said, I see a lot of that as well. But and I know some of that comes from guilt, but again, it goes back to, okay, if it came from guilt, now let's dig a little deeper and see, why are you guilty? Like, where is that guilt stemming from? So that's an example to what that is.
right. And so talk about a couple of your quotes or in your journal prompts that's
Hmm.
in your book.
Yes. Also, I do notice, I want to say this real quick, that you have the website pulled up as well. So even on that website, if you actually put in the code legacy, you will save 10% on the book. So keep that in mind. So just put in the
Yes,
code legacy and it will save you 10% on that book.
yes.
But one of the quotes that I really like that I have in the book, it actually came from Romans 12:1 and 2. But I have it, and it says, "You will be transformed and renewed by the way you think." So again, once you investing, putting in the work by actually transforming and renewing your thoughts, you will be changed by that. And that's one of the quotes that you will see in the book, that I mean, this is one of my life quotes, by the way. And because it stands true. You will be transformed and renewed by the way you think. And it also goes back to, basically, what are you listening to? What are you watching? Like, who is in your ear? I mean, you want to actually develop yourself to be around positive things, basically. Reading positive books, reading your Bible, having positive friends and different things like that in your life. So that quote actually stands true to my life. And I really enjoyed that quote. And hopefully you will too. And I also have a bookmark. I know you can't see it, but this will come along with the book once you purchase it as well.
You have the bookmark.
Yes, with the quote. I don't
Okay,
know if you
you
can.
can hold it up.
You
I'm gonna
can.
stop
Okay.
sharing so everybody can see it.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay,
how.
so you would get a bookmark with her book, and I don't know if you can see. I wanted to, but her book is full of journal prompts. Um, and one of them says, "New choices plus constant practice equals change and will become a habit." You have keep your life free from the love of money and be content with what you have, for he has said, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." That's Hebrew 13:5. Um, One of them says, "The quality of a person's life is most often a direct reflection of the expectancies of their peer group." So, and then after that, she asked questions like, in what ways did I see my parents slash guardians handle money growing up? Question. I want you to talk about that just a little bit, because do you believe that that's where we get some of our habits from? And
Absolutely.
so what, talk about some of the healthy habits versus unhealthy habits, and growing up in families, and just seeing those habits that our parents led us in or showed
So
us.
e Yes. So even when you ask the question, do you think some of that have an impact? Most definitely, because basically we model what we see, right? Especially as children, right? So even going back to that question, from the prompt there, one of the things I think about there, I remember there was a time, just, to be transparent here. But there was a time I remember going in a store, right? And it was a time to where I couldn't pay for all of my items. And I remember just putting some of the items back, and it didn't phase me because that's something I saw my mama do. But even when I remember thinking about that, I'm like, wait a minute, why would I put all of those items, in my basket when I knew I couldn't pay for all of them, right? But it was something that I seen my mom do, and not realizing that. And then also, even outside of, I've noticed, just, when I think about what I seen, growing up with money, I noticed she was buying things that she want and sometimes didn't pay some of the bills. And I noticed starting out, I was doing the same thing. But it wasn't until most definitely, getting older and realizing, like, wait a minute, I can't buy certain things for my family because of how I'm, spending money and managing the money, because it was basically from what I seen growing up. But until I got to the core of that, I started making different money decisions and, changing my money habits. And, it helped us. And I'm grateful now to be in a place to be able to do that so my children can see a different side. And it's funny too, I have two older children, and then I also have a teenager. And some of my older children will say, "Well, mama, you didn't teach us that. You didn't show us that." I'm like, look, I am in a different place in life. So it's like I didn't show y'all or teach y'all because I didn't have it to do. But now I'm in a position to do that. So I know with my, our younger son, he's been exposed to things that our older two children they didn't. So prayerfully, he will be in a different position growing up financially,
Yeah.
because he is seeing different things. And we
So
talk about money more.
right.
That's in our conversation. We talk about it.
So when it comes to the change of behavior, as we know, that's not always easy when you're trying to change your behavior from an old habit to a new habit. So what would you say for someone that's really struggling, in this area? What would be the first step that they should take when in changing their behavior?
So changing your behavior again, like you said, it's not easy to do, right? So that means you have to put the work in, right? And it's not going to change overnight. But even starting, you want to get to the core. You want to get to the root. The root cause of, again, why you spend, save, and give the way you do. So once you determine that, you want to know the why. And then from there, that's when you will start building those healthy habits. But in order to do that, I highly recommend, you can contact me. I can connect you with someone to work with. You most definitely can work with me, because it is very important that you are working with someone who's holding you accountable to make sure that you are making those right decisions and changing that behavior.
Yes, and being honest.
Yes, absolutely. You
Being we
have to
have
be
to
very transparent.
yes, we have to be very honest with ourselves. Like you showed your transparent story and in the things that
Mhm,
you're saying and how it
mhm.
impact you. So just being honest and I writing. I know a lot of times we read and a lot of things are virtually now, but I always say the power of a pen or the power of a pencil
Okay.
is good. so
Yeah,
so getting with
absolutely.
someone like Kristie. Kristie, what program do you have set in place to help individuals that need a partner or a coach or a social worker or a therapist? There's so many ways that you can help someone to be set free. And so where they can tap into their inner and their inner wealth is along with their inner self. So
Yes,
people
absolutely.
know.
So basically, the first step is purchasing that journal. And doing that, most definitely, contact me. Like she said, I'm a licensed social worker, so I'm grateful to be able to provide the counseling and the therapist that you need. Or, I most definitely have a referral system in place to where I can refer you out to someone who most definitely can help you.
Yes, awesome. And so, as we have talked a little bit about these personalities, we talked about behavior. Now, as we all love money, that we all love to hear this multiple streams of income, right? And so that brings me to my next questions. While there are different ways to increase income, what is your take on having multiple streams of income? Because even though we have multiple streams of income, it's important that we have life in order, and that's those behaviors of how we spend. Because sometimes the more money you have, the more money you spend. But in your book, you talked about having more money but spending less. So let's talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. So I most definitely is in agreement with having multiple streams of income, right? I have one of my older friends, I call her mentor. I have so many people in my life who's pouring into me, which I'm really grateful for. But one of the things I remember her telling me, she said, Kristie, she said, you need to have a second, income coming in most definitely when you have a car note, when you're traveling, going on vacation, and so forth. So I remember her saying you should never use your primary income to pay for things like that. And outside of that, the reason why is because you shouldn't be using that primary income to pay off debt. Okay. Or to travel or to do anything like that. You should have multiple streams of income to help with that. Also, one of the things, going back to your question too, is very important that you have a strategic plan in place. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to have this extra income coming in, what is the purpose of me having that extra income? So, I encourage and, I always teach you should never not do anything if you don't have a plan in place. It's very important that you have a plan in place, because otherwise it's going to be like, oh, I'm making this extra money. I can just spend it here, spend it there. And no, because at the same time, even though you see the income increasing, but more is going out because you haven't took the time to set a plan in place by following the budget, writing out those goals. So it's very important that you do that.
I'm glad you mentioned goals, because along with having, what are the different ways that we can have multiple streams of income?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I encourage there is most definitely think about your talents and your skill set. I think about even just creating this journal. Like I said, when I met with Dr. Ford, she just said, "What is it you want to do?" And I just gave her a list of stuff, things that I have dreamed of. Did not. I mean, I'm like, well, I mean, one of the things I encourage, think big, like think outside of your comfort zone. You never know what the Lord have in store for you. So even outside of that, to create those, like I said, think about your talents, your skills. Think about what you're good at. I work with, or know some people who, just doing something as simple as making portraits. I mean, she's making a lot of money off of Etsy by just making portraits. I mean, outside of that, if it's jewelry, if it's, landscaping, painting, I mean, whatever you're good at, think about, the skills you have, even writing a book. I mean, telling your story. It's so, one of the things I have learned about, creating multiple streams of income. I'm big on entrepreneurship, by the way, too. But one of the things I have learned there is, you should be creating something that's going to solve a problem. All right. So whatever you can do to solve a problem to help someone else, create that for yourself by most definitely, getting with someone who can help, streamline that for you. But, just think along those lines to help create those multiple streams of income.
Awesome, awesome. And so I heard you mention goals, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about your SMART goals that you break down in your book.
Mhm. So so the reason why the goals are very important, because when you think about SMART goals, we are actually taught, or you hear them in different spaces to where, it's like, okay, well, I want to work on this goal to, increase or, expand my education, or I want to work on this goal to lose weight, or I want to work on this goal to, fix up my home, something like that. But we never really hear in the space of our finances. So that's the reason why I included that in the journal, because like I said, that everything you do, you should have a strategic plan and a goal in mind to actually reach that. So, and even when you think about that SMART goal, you want to make sure that whatever it is, that it's a suspicious. Can't even say that. I knew I was going to do that, but specific. Also, you want to make sure that it's measurable. you know you want to make sure that you're keeping track of it. You want to make sure that it's attainable, at your capacity. Make sure that it's something you can reach. Make sure that it's realistic. Come up with a goal that's something you can achieve and attain, depending on your level of motivation. And you want to put a time frame to it, so set deadlines. So if for an example, where do you see yourself a year from now financially? So this time next year, where would you like to be financially? All
Right,
right. And even when you ask yourself that question, you want to use that SMART goals analogy to put that goal in place.
right, right. And so as we talk about multiple streams of income, as we talk about the SMART goals, how does this all play a role in understanding equity. You talk about, the difference in, equity in your book. It was three things that you connected. So I wanted you to kind of unfold that for everyone, because everyone is not, they don't understand that the whole logic of, and I think it's very important, especially as grown adults, when it comes to investing and equity and setting goals and making more money and just being smart. And I'm in a place where I'm just loving. I'm like investment, like smart investments. So unfold that for us, please.
So even going back to the equity side, so when you think about money, it's like I tell people, it's levels to this, okay? And it's basically about building wealth for yourself. So when you think about wealth, that's just not always money, all right? That's your assets basically. Owning your own home, starting your business. Some people invest in portraits, having something in the stock market and different things like that. So that's where that equity side comes from. So it's about building wealth for yourself. And like I said, I encourage and basically educate people on, it's levels to it. So, just in my day-to-day job, I start basically on the foundational side of everything, to where we're looking at the budget, we looking at, okay, how can you eliminate some of this debt? How can you increase this credit score? And from there it's like, okay, well, you have all this in line. So now, okay, what's the next step? Do you want to purchase this home? You want to start this business? And then from there it's like, okay, do you have, this 3 to 6 month living in place? Do you have that emergency money set aside? And then from there it's like, okay, so now, you ready to start putting money into the market or ready to expand on what you would like to do with your money. Because when you think about, um, I know we'll hear like the net worth of things, basically. So, like I said, the net worth is just not so much about that tangible money. All right, it's more than that. And I know in spaces, a lot of spaces that we're in, like you said, we don't have these conversations, or we're not taught, okay, well, how do I build that for myself? And I'm grateful, that I am in those roles and in these spaces to help do that. I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, would I be here? I'm like, no, like my mindset was completely different. I mean, but even just being in this space, I mean, I never seen me being in this space. So, like you said, I mean, my background, I come in, as a therapist, but now here I am on the financial side, but I see how it all works together, to help. So I'm grateful to be here and be able to educate and teach those things.
Right. And that, I'm glad. And that brings us to one of her quotes in her book. It says, train your mind to recognize possibilities. The possibilities, right? If you don't know, you don't know. We are destroyed by the lack of knowledge, okay? And so, is there anything else that you would like to share with your listening audience about your book or about your services? Anything that any projects that you have coming up next?
Well, so basically, like she said, go to that landing page, legacymakerbk.square.site to purchase that. You get 10% off. Also, you can go to Amazon to purchase the book. And actually going back to the book, how it's set up is 20 quotes, 20 prompt questions, 20 tips. So even when you think about the quote or when you read the quote, there's a question that goes along with that quote. And with that, there's a tip, to help you along the way with that. So it's a money tip, basically. You also will have a section in the journal to, if for the visual learners out there, you can actually create a vision page in the journal as well. And then I also have a section to where is some resources that's listed there that will help as well. And then she asked, what are some upcoming things? So some of the upcoming things is most definitely, having seminars around this and basically providing the counseling, as a therapist to help you with this as well. And one of the things I would like to leave you with too is a change mind plus the change heart equals change behaviors. So it's very important that you know your why, and you get to the core of why you get to the core reason of why you spend, save, and give the way you do. And also put the work in, because trust me, it will, especially if you put those goals in place and start now when it comes to your finances. Think about where you will be this time next year
Mhm.
just by putting in the work today. And I tell people usually it starts now, it starts today.
It does. It does. So how can they contact you?
So most definitely, you can contact me by email. It's legacymakerbk@gmail.com, and give me about 24 hours to respond. But I most definitely will respond there, and basically on my LinkedIn page and also Instagram and
Yeah.
on Facebook. I think
Yeah.
some of you all are on Facebook as well. So most definitely on there as well.
Awesome, awesome. And so, listen, you all, as you all go and you purchase her book, if you purchase on Amazon, make sure you leave reviews. Some people forget about that, but it's very important that we leave reviews. If they purchase your book on the Square, are they still able to leave a review on Amazon, or do
No,
you have a?
Be-
Okay, so
so
how
yeah,
can
but
they? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but you most definitely can leave a review on there because Square, they do ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
to see how was the service, how did you like the book, and so forth. So yes, they're able to leave a review there
All
or
right,
a comment, I
awesome.
believe.
Yeah, so make sure that you do just that. You make sure that you leave a review. And this was awesome. Again, don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck. We want you all to be able to invest in yourself, in your inner wealth. This is the perfect time, and we are just in April of 2024, so we still have a full year ahead. If you need help financially, or just understanding wealth, the different streams of income, um, contact her. Don't hesitate to contact her. And I want to say, while I'm thinking about it, um, she was talking about her upcoming projects. She will be one of my facilitators at the Power Moves Her June 14th and 15th here in Knoxville, Tennessee. There is more information that will be coming soon. She will also have her flyer that she will be sharing with everyone. So, again, you all put on your calendar for June 15th. That's another opportunity to sit in her class and learn more about what she will be teaching on. And her topic, what is your topic for the Power Moves Her?
So there actually is on entrepreneurship.
Okay,
So
so she'll
understand
be talking.
your business plan and so forth.
Yes, she'll be talking about entrepreneurship. And so, yes, again, we thank everyone who have taken the time to join tonight and listen in with our new author, Kristie Blevins, if I said it correctly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so again, everyone just continue to celebrate her, reach out to her, congratulate her, and share this episode. And we thank you all. Have a great night.